Take it away, Nora.
Awesome. Thank you, Christine. Happy Monday, everyone. And we are so pleased to have Sarah Gustafson here from the Worcester area. So Sarah, if you don't mind, I'll do a quick intro for you and let's go. So obviously you're a successful realtor and an improved Massachusetts instructor and of course a volunteer leader, and we thank you for that. She's a top producing independent agent and a Gallup certified Clifton strengths coach. And I just was talking to her beforehand a little bit about the 2018. She's a part of Leadership Academy back in 2018 class, graduate. And she's also been privileged to be the leader of organizations ranging from 20 to 1,600 members. Sarah's developed and refined her skills in leadership systems and personality assessments, and also worked with realtors, colleges, and professional organizations to empower them to help teams to achieve their goals. Sarah has also had the pleasure of speaking at numerous realtor industry events, including NAR Conference and Expo, CRS Bootcamp, and the Mass Association of Realtors Leadership Symposium. So Sarah, thank you so much. Welcome. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me today. All right, so today I received a request to talk about diversifying your business, and it's something that I have done over the course of my career. So there is actually a world beyond the listing and selling of real estate, and we're going to dive into that today. But we're going to start at the end will be our beginning. So the end is finding your joy. And this is not going to be a whole huggy kumbaya type moment, but if there's one thing that I've learned in over 13 years of being in this industry is you have to find in it what makes your soul sing and pursue that part of it. So for some of us, it's going to be the sales piece. And I know for many of my friends that are in this industry, they absolutely love the listing and selling part of real estate. And in order to diversify in this business, my feeling is that you first need to become an expert in it and build your brand. So I started 13 years ago in 2009, when no one really told me that we were in one of the worst real estate markets you could start in the country. However, at that time, you could actually find inventory by prospecting and knocking on doors. So I was actually able to build my business that way, which then led me to becoming a top producer within my association, which was all well and lovely and good. I was involved in coaching programs to help me continue to systemize my business, which I proceeded to do up until about 3 months ago. But I'm someone that once I figure something out and get it systemized, I tend to get bored. And then I look for a new challenge. And I started searching outside of just the listing and selling of real estate. One of the things that had always drawn me in from the get-go was being involved as a volunteer leader, because it gave me an opportunity to contribute to something that was greater than my personal business. Although I do love helping my clients, I will admit out loud and publicly that I tend to get a little stressed when dealing with other professionals in our industry that don't tend to be as competent as I think they should be sometimes. So I look for things that help me balance that. And one of those things was getting involved with the board. So we all have, okay, I've got, yes. Okay, lost my screen sharing abilities. Hold on. I am now trapped. Okay, sorry. So that means you guys can't see anything because there's something going on the other side and I can't get out of where I'm at. Can you help me, other administrators? Yeah, so no, I've done a couple slides since then, but I can't get out because I think of what was happening.
Okay, let me see.
Can you override me? I have no mouse capabilities right now.
Stop participant sharing. Okay.
There you go.
You are still co-host. Let's see if it works now.
All right.
I was like, I don't know. I've never done that before. The beginning, building the brand.
Now we can see. No,
Perfect.
but it's not letting me go big. All right, for some reason, when I'm going big on my screen, it's not letting that happen. It's stopping it. All right, so sorry guys, we're gonna just adapt with technology today. So as I had mentioned, when I started in the business, I became an expert, got involved with the association, became a top producing agent in my area, but then I started looking for something more. And I think there are a lot of agents that do that I have talked to over the course of my career. So when we are looking for something else to do in real estate, we have an amount for limitless income in this industry, which is fantastic. But I also have found that it's limitless opportunity as well. There are so many other areas of this industry that we can get involved in if we want to, once we have mastered the listing and selling process. So some other things that I know people even on this call have gotten involved in to diversify their business is investment property, doing the flipping of houses. I have some colleagues that have gotten into property management. I know others that have moved into brokerage positions. So they continue to run their business, but then also collect salaries through brokerage positions. People that give out referrals is another income stream. I have said this for many years. I saved the down payment for my house off of referrals I had sent to other agents, and I intend to save the down payment for my second house off of referrals I'm sending to other agents. So that is an income stream I think that often agents do not recognize or think about as often as we should. So many times when we are moving someone out of our area, do we think to ask, oh, can I connect you with the person in the next area? And I saw Shannon Buscott on this call, and she and I have done a number of referrals back and forth between Rhode Island and Mass over the years. And I've done them as far as, Washington State and California. So looking for those opportunities is just another way to add money into your income streams. And the other thing that I thought of this morning was charities as well. Many of us work in charitable organizations, and although we're giving and supporting to the charitable organization, the diversification of our business in that element is the referrals that you will get back from putting yourself in another place, another sphere. It's another spinning plate when we've talked about the spinning plates in real estate. So outside of just prospecting your own sphere of influence and building your own business and cultivating that database, there are also, once you get that tight, areas that you can go off of to create different revenue streams. And again, when we're working in a market right now where we have 26,000 realtors in this state, competing in some months over 3,000 properties that have sold, it's kind of become a joke out in my area that somebody's not eating. So it's what else are we focusing on that can be bringing revenue in when maybe the listing and selling part is not going as well as we had hoped. So as I began the session, I was talking about what do I do for my joy? And my joy, hands down, has been volunteering since I've been in this industry. And I will be very frank with everyone here. I support myself. I don't have a second, person bringing money into my household. It's all me. So if I don't sell 1 month, I don't eat. That's how it works. And when you've got an assistant, which I have, I need to make sure she's also eating. And over the course of my career, I was volunteering at a high level and then also selling real estate. And when my leadership responsibilities had ended, I was advised by coaches and other mentors that, you really just need to step back. And you should just focus on the listing and selling and really catapulting your business. And I did step back from volunteering for quite a few years. And it was funny because during that time, I had the opportunity that I was on a plane once a month for a week for a year, traveling on vacation and whatnot. And during that year, I sold the most amount of real estate I had ever sold. Then the following 2 years, I was again advised you need to step back, really focus on the business if you want it to explode. And so I did that. And all I did was just hustle, making the calls, sending the letters, doing all of the things. And at the end of that, I still sold the same amount of houses I had sold the year that I was on vacation, more than I'd ever been on vacation. And what that told me was that although I list and sell and I hold my own and I'm a top producer in my marketplace, it is not my passion and not my joy. And I realized after taking 2 years away from everything I was told was wasting my time to focus on just producing income, I still wasn't breaking the barriers. And what I took that to mean was I needed to go back to the things that light me up inside Because when I'm doing those things, that's when I tend to be the most at ease in the listing and selling part of this business. So I have since gotten back involved in volunteering, which when we talk about diversifying the business leads to the second bullet point, which is the referrals piece. We get the referrals through the relationships that we develop because of friendships that we make across the country through this organization. And I wouldn't trade that because, as I mentioned earlier, you can save the down payment for a house off of referral fees. The second thing I did was I became certified as a Clifton Strengths coach. One of the things that I absolutely love that I was introduced to in this industry is personality assessments. The first one I ever took was during an MAR Leadership Academy. I was introduced to the Myers-Briggs, and that was where I found out that I was an introvert, which was shocking to me actually at the time, but also very enlightening because I realized one of the reasons I was getting so exhausted in this business was because I was required to extrovert all day, every day. But then I was not taking time when I got home to recharge myself. So finding out that piece really led me down the rabbit hole of personality assessment. So I learned as much as I could about Myers. Then I learned about DISC. And for those of you who have taken DISC, I'm a high D. I'm sure that's really hard to see, but very driven, tend to be aggressive sometimes. And I've learned to embrace that part of my personality, but also with my clients, recognize that I need to adjust to where their personalities are coming in. And then that led to Clifton Strengths, which I got certified in July of 2020. And I am now certified to coach it individually and also to teams. So when we're talking about diversifying your business, I can use this in the real estate community, but I'm also using it to coach local businesses in my area. So I've been hired by a local bank in my community to give them 2 sessions as an employee development day to their employees. So we're going to teach them how to all work together, leveraging their strengths, because we all have strengths. And my role in leadership has taught me if we all focus more on what our strengths are and then round out our teams with where we're weak, we become much better leaders. So in addition to the Clifton Strengths, I also started a consulting company, and the consulting company specializes, if any of you have ever sat with me in meetings, I love strategic planning. That is one of my favorite things to do. I naturally see how pieces should fit together, and I love to help organizations figure that out, and then help hold themselves accountable to that. And in addition, that leads us to the last point, which is where I am today, is becoming a paid public speaker. And that is something I'm sure many of you have seen, but I have had the opportunity to partner with a company called Reimagine Gender, who teaches how to use gender in proper ways in our business environment. So we have tailored that session to the real estate community and how we can properly make sure we are in compliance with our fair housing and code of ethics as far as gender is concerned in this business. So again, I started in this industry as a realtor, listing and selling real estate, but over the course of 13 years have not found out that this is my bliss. I'm good at it and I make a good living at it, but there are other areas of my life that I like to focus on and develop, and having the base in real estate sales has allowed me to explore other areas that bring me joy and that I enjoy working with people. So lastly, I was going to leave you with this quote, and it's something that resonates very strongly with me, is to go forth in the directions of your dreams and live the life that you've imagined, by Thoreau. And I chose this because I realized relatively recently that real estate was not actually my dream. That was the partner I was with at the time's dream. I had been in corporate America for a long time. And one day he said to me, if you are going to work this hard, you should work for yourself. It's not that hard to make a week's pay. I will dispute him on that last point because I found that it can be extremely difficult sometimes to make a week's pay. But that was his dream was for me to do real estate because he just thought I'd sell a couple houses a year and like have a vacation fund and it'd be super fun for us. And getting involved in it brought me down a very different path and introduced me to the association. And so once I was able to get the base of being able to make a living off of the industry and sales, I was able to open myself up to other opportunities which are offered to diversify my business and continue to grow it. So with that being said, I apologize for the technical difficulties that we had with the presentation today, but we learned to roll with that in this environment. And I'm of course open to any questions.
Sarah, thank you so much. That was very illuminating. If you want to unshare your screen, we can have it see everybody and see people raising their hands. And somebody just pointed out, I think, oh, that was Gary, just fix your email address. You might want to put it here, Sarah, to group for everybody if they want to group or if they want to send you an email. What does your team look like now? I'll start off the questions.
So my team now is myself and one assistant, Eunice. She's actually on this call. I would not make it through the day if I did not have her. I hired my first assistant in 2020, and that is something I wish I had done much earlier in my career, because once you have the help to start making things more consistent, it allows you to be able to expand into other areas of your career more easily. Because, you know, again, if we started in real estate sales, and that's where the fundamental part of our business is coming from, you need to be able to keep that piece going seamlessly as you explore other opportunities and things that you're interested in diversifying your business into. So for me, having an assistant has been key to that process.
Great. And then we have a message or a question here. How would you suggest others can get involved in volunteer positions with the local boards and even national and even CRS?
Cheryl, tee me up there. I love it. Okay. That's one thing I love to talk about, is volunteering. So the first thing is, contact your local board and find out how they do their volunteer positions. I know at my local board, we have a committee volunteer night in November so that people can get to know what each of the different committees does and then apply for those positions for the coming year. So I do know generally in Central Mass, the committees are set at the beginning of the year, and then there are opportunities to get involved in done in a day situations where we just have volunteer opportunities for one day if you did not get placed on a committee for the year, that calendar year. But I know that each board does it differently. So I'd say first reach out to the staff at your local board and ask them what that looks like. The second piece of that would definitely be to get involved where your passion lies. I found out very early on, my passion in this industry is 1000% in the advocacy end of the Realtor organization. Anything RPAC related, anything related to being on the Hill, talking to legislators, that is where my heart and soul with this industry is. And, I say to people, if you're not particularly feeling that, then don't try to get onto those committees. Go where drives you. If you love professional development, then get on the professional development committee. If you love being out in the community and helping work on area projects with charities, go there and do those things, because the happier you are with wherever you're volunteering, that's naturally going to drive opportunities for business to you because people see it in you. And it's the like attracts like scenario of it.
I love that. And Shannon wrote, way to go, Sarah. I loved your session on gender last week. You're a gifted speaker. So can you give us a sampling of that? And also, like, how would, if somebody or people are broker owners, or if they have somebody that they, have an opportunity to bring a speaker into their office, how do you go about booking? I know you didn't, I'm just asking that just for my own selfish reasons too, but how do you deal with that with your assistant?
So I'm going to break that question down into a couple of parts. So the first thing is, if you are interested in booking me to speak, just reach out to me. My email is in the chat, and then we take a look at what you're looking to have done, the budget for it, the timing for it, the dates for it, etc. So it's done on an individual basis depending upon what specifically it is a business is looking to have me do. The second piece of that, the gender piece of it, is I have partnered with a company called Reimagine Gender. You can look them up, reimaginegender.org. Their website has phenomenal information that will help you understand a little bit more about this topic, that it is complimentary to anybody that goes to that site. As far as the session for that goes, that is a paid session, and if people are interested in it, they can reach out to me. And again, Reimagine Gender does work with companies to help them neutralize their language, because there are many times that we are gendering things that we should not be. Or don't need to. And one of the examples I use, and I'll just give this very quickly, is that in our world, we tend to use things such as the she sheds and the man caves and the his and hers closets. And if we are in compliance with fair housing and our code of ethics, we should not be gendering items in the house when we are advertising. So just something to keep in mind, but that is much too deep of a topic for me to delve into more
Oh, very
completely
good. Thank
today.
you. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Anybody wants to raise their hands? Mark said, you probably can read this too, Sarah. I love the fact you didn't do significantly more business when you gave up volunteering. I know, that's amazing, isn't it? When you
That was a very eye-opening moment to me. And it was one I meditated on for quite some time, because I have been told many times during the course of my life that I'm extremely hard on myself. And I just don't know how you're successful if you're not hard on yourself. You know, I look at the most successful people in the world, and I don't feel that you get to be at that level unless you do have a certain amount of drive within. But what that experience really made me realize was, you know, it brought forth to me when my mom used to say to me, as long as you tried your best, that's all I can ask. And if you tried your best and it's not your thing, then that's okay. And I will give you all. At soccer, I did not try my best, mostly just because I did not like it and I did not want to have to play soccer anymore. But when it came to real estate, I was paying to be coached, and I did for those 2 years try my very best, and I was doing all the things I was told to do. But what I realized was I had removed the things in my life that had brought me the greatest amount of joy in this business. And so then I started resenting the business because I wasn't involved in the piece of it that brought me the joy. So that was when I had to reassess and look at other avenues to keep myself diversified, so I could continue to do the actions that make me the living that afford me the ability to do the other things that I love.
And Sarah, Cheryl asked, who is your coach? Or do you have a coach? Who is your coach? Or how do
So
you
the coaching program I used was the core training out of Charlotte, North Carolina, which is an excellent program. If any of you know Sasha Tripp is actually launching her own coaching company right now. I was fortunate enough to meet Sasha at an event at the MAR conference that we had, and it was funny. And Sasha knows I tell this joke, so I will tell it here too. I had a bunch of people say that to me that day. Oh my God, you have to meet Sasha. She's just like you guys are just alike. And I met Sasha. And for those of you that know her, she's 6 inches taller, 10 years younger, and a whole lot blonder than me. But other than that, we're totally the same person. So I met her and I looked at her and I said, how did you become who you are? Because she's extremely successful in this business, has opened her own brokerage. And she said, I use the core. And I said, all right, no problem. And I went into that program immediately. And I was with them for about 5 years. But for me, what happened was I got to the point where I have the systems in place that I'm using, and also realized I don't necessarily want to take my personal business to the next level, because I'm working well where I am, and it's affording me opportunities to get involved in other things. And in order to go up to that next level, you know, I mean, you're talking, that's when people get the teams of, 7 to 12 people. And I didn't necessarily know that was a route I wanted to go down.
I know that's a whole other topic, right? It's okay to
It
only do this much. It's still a lot. We don't have to always
and
having to double.
that
and
I
double.
think, yeah, to your point, or that was a hard thing for me to recognize and accept, because I feel in this industry, we focus so much on breaking all the records, and I was being very hard on myself because I didn't feel I was producing at a high enough level for where I was at in my career. And it took a very good friend of mine one day to say to me when I was struggling with all of the things that we've talked about today, as far as diversifying my business, she was like, you have been successful. She's like, you're still one of the top 7% in your association every year for sales. She's like, you're not slacking. You know, you were president of your association. You've spoken nationally. And when she started to point out the things that I had done, it gave me the space to say, okay, so if my sales stay between this number and this number, I make a good living, my assistant makes a good living, we can possibly hire a third person, we can run a nice, small, tight little team, everyone does well, but then we all also get to invest in other areas of our lives and develop those areas. And I think it's important to have that balance if the sales aspect of this business is not a key driver. Right. So for some of my friends, they're top producers, they love the hunt and kill of the whole thing, or, you know, the seed and grow part, if you want to go a little less aggressive, but, you know, they just love closing the deal. They love the negotiations. They love being involved in all that. And for me, that is, I love helping my clients get to where they want to go in life. But getting the next deal has not just always been my driver. You know, I'll say it, if I lose a listing, I go away and I'm busy assessing, okay, what can I do to improve to get that the next time? But I'm not going, man, I can't believe I lost a listing. I just look at it a different way. So.
Yeah, that's really great advice. And I think also, Cheryl, thank you for all your comments and questions, Cheryl. This is great. Your BNI success stories too are really another part of your business too.
BNI was amazing. You know, I recommend to anybody that can get involved in networking opportunities. BNI was critical. I think it is definitely the biggest ROI, the fastest, without a doubt, because you are the one seat in that, and that can really help newer realtors or realtors that are looking to take their business to the next level, do that kind of relatively easily.
And Mark, jump right in. Mark,
Yeah.
Thank you from Colorado. Welcome.
Yes. We're supposed to get all snow tonight, and we're happy about it, so it's all good. This has been awesome because I have been struggling is probably too dramatic a word, but this has definitely been, and I wasn't sure that this is what the topic was, so it was sort of a surprise to me and a pleasant surprise, but that I'm in an office, it's a very small office, I'm co-owner, and the other 3 agents in here are absolute monsters in a good way in what they do. I make a good living, but there's always that tension that goes on in my head is like, okay, should I give up X, Y, and Z and concentrate on, and it's just so nice to have empirical evidence that now I know that wouldn't work for me. So thank you for that. Because my passion is in the volunteering, similar to what you do, not just for real estate, but also for the community and nonprofits. That's where I get my energy and my passion from. And it's interesting, Ann and I were on a panel a few years ago about community responsibility and service as the true meaning of SRES. Oh, and John Young, who's here too, was on that. And the idea was we at NAR, I've sat in on so many panels that were volunteer and give of yourself so that you can get leads. And it just kills me. It's like, no, that's not why you should be volunteering. You should be volunteering because of what you said, because of the passion. And then, of course, does that help your business? 100%. But cart before the horse, you know. But thank you so much for everything you said. That really wasn't a question, but you helped clarify a whole lot of things that I've been thinking about recently. So thank you.
Oh, that's
That
great,
makes my
Mark.
heart
Thank you.
happy. Good.
That's awesome. Wonderful. And Sarah, I just want to thank you so much. And if people, so we're ending actually on time. I mean, you masterfully timed that too, perfectly, Sarah. So kudos to you. Just a couple of save the dates. June 7th, we're going to have Kim Cameron on branding your business. That'll be a full day class. And then we also are working on, I believe it's Thursday, Friday, for one of the certifications for investments that Chris Burr is going to be talking about, and being a live class in Newport, Rhode Island. So Shannon, I think she's still on here. I don't know, maybe she had to pop out. Our education chair has been really working hard on that. And we've got a great venue. So stay tuned for Lisa, who's not able to join us today, but we'll be sending out save the dates and more specifics on that. But essentially it's going to be one full day of Chris. And then the next day can be out on your own, doing your own thing on Friday in Newport, or some of us can get together and do the training that's more of the webinar training that we have to get through to get that certification. So that's it. And Sarah, I want to thank you again and thank all our leadership team and everybody here joining us. We wouldn't be having this call if nobody was on here. So thank you and have a great week. Bye-bye.